welcome to today's video. So today what I thought I would do is make some embellishments that can go in our journals or on scrapbook pages, whatever you would like to do. They're paper ruffles. So using up scraps of paper, I've just folded them and pretty much sewn through the middle of them. So they come out really, really good actually. So these could be used as a border, an edging, whatever you'd like. You could tuck things behind these. There's a whole world of, or even a pocket, use it as a pocket in your journal. So there's a whole world of using things, which is pretty cool. And it's a great way to use up scraps and things as well. So this one's actually made out of a couple of pieces of paper. You can see my joins and things in there. When they're in a line like that, you can't tell that it's joined anyway. So that's what I've done there. And then there's some greeny colour ones. There's that again is a join in the middle through there. But you could fluff them up. You can do whatever you like. And each one I've done a little bit different. So this one's, I've run a straight line through and then run a swirly line through the middle to get a little bit of difference. I've done the same with that one. Also this body. He looks pretty cool too. So I really like that. I like the look. I like the texture. The feel's really cool. Such a simple idea, but creates lots of texture and fun in your journal and pages. So yeah, they came out really good. I really like these. So that was just a simple straight through, like that one as well, which is cool. This is actually through with a book page. So I've just used an old book page like this. It's come out of this very book with the brown edges on it. And this one I sort of did a little bit all over the place. So where some of these are quite neat, so this one's quite a neat one. I've pretty much folded it back on top of itself. Where this one I sort of went a bit willy-nilly and tore the edges of the book to create this sort of a look. So, and you could do all sorts of things to that. You could put some ink on it, you could spray it, you could add an embellishment or a cluster or something on it, just so that it blends in with whatever you're doing on your journal. So they come out pretty cool. I really like these. So what I thought I'd do is show you how I made them and yeah, get underway that way. So what I thought I would do to begin with is start with two pieces of, it's 12 by 12 paper. And what I've actually done is cut it at 1.5 inches. So most of these, a few of them are 1.5. That one's 1.5 inches. Some of them are a little bit less. He's not quite that. I think that might be 1 inch. So most of them are that. It depended on what your scrap paper is. So if you've got a really thin piece of scrap paper, you could do thinner ones, you can do fatter ones. That's totally up to you. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to use these ones. And what I'm actually going to do is show you how to fold them. So it's not difficult. All I did was folded it over like so. So you've got your top piece and you just keep doing that as you go down. So keep folding it, fold it back the other way. I don't tend to fold the back as far back. That way you keep a lot of paper on this side and you're not bunching it up on the other side. But again, it's up to you what you want to do. So you can do them all the same if you want. You could do them a little bit different, whatever you feel the need to do. So I just sort of wing it. I don't really measure anything. Never have. So I just sort of keep folding back and forth until you're using up all your paper, like so. That's it. So I've got a little bit wobbly, but that's okay. And just keep going until you run out of paper. Let's see if you can see that. There we go. I've run out of paper. So that's one. So I'm going to do the same with the other one. Again, on here. You see what I'm doing? I'm coming a bit closer to the camera. Doing it again. Oops, that's it. You just keep bending and folding until you run out of paper. See how it's coming together like that? That's it. Go again. Back the other way. Back again. So it's just a matter of moving the paper, really. If I can get one more in there. Oh, can we do it? Yeah, let's just use that little tiny piece. So then there's my 2 pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do is sew them. So when you go to sew them together, I'll have to sew off camera because it's very hard to hold a camera and sew at the same time. And the angles just aren't right. So everyone knows how to generally sew. And I'm just doing straight lines. There's nothing fancy. So when I go to sew them, I start at this top part. And when you feed it in, you've just got to make sure it's flat like that. So it's all down and it feeds in. You can get a little bit of back, you know, this bit getting stuck sort of thing. So you just gently feed it in and you should be okay. I didn't have too many issues doing any of these. They were completely fine. So then when you go to, what I do is do this one first and I go down to about here and then I slot this next piece into this piece just here. So it overlaps slightly and you'll never know where there's a join. It's great. And then you just keep going, keep sewing all the way down. Again, bending your pieces up, sew all the way down to the end. And I do the little backwards and forwards on either end just so that it holds all the stitching in place. So that's that one. I'll stitch that shortly. I thought I'd fold them all up first and then go off camera and stitch them all up. So then there's another one of these. Although this one I only had two pieces, but I thought I might do it with the 2 pieces and just see what the difference is. So one's going to be a fatter and then it'll go a bit skinnier. Just creates a little bit of difference. So I thought I'd do that. But what I also thought I would do is put them in half, like so, but do the same thing. So I'm doing the edges exactly the same, back and forth, like I did before. So there's one piece done. Another piece. That's it. Back that way. So it's just sort of, it's all about folding, pretty much. So there's those 2 done. Again with this one. So this was just some craft that I had that's got some, like a script on it. Now the other thing you could do with this, if you really wanted to, is tear the sides. That would look pretty cool too. You can do them however you like. A couple of them I've distressed the edges as well. So what I thought I would do is put these in the middle of these and sew down. That works. I could tear those edges. Let's see how it looks once it's sewn. It looks a bit funny at the moment. But nothing also to say that once this is done, I can't cut it all down to the same size anyway. I just thought I'd experiment a little bit and see what it would look like with 2 different sizes. And I think that's okay. Looks a bit groovy. All right, so that's number 2 done. So we've folded up 2 of them. I'll put that one back in there. Here's another one. So this one is the back of this, but I thought I would do it on this side and add some, just an offcut music paper on it as well. So this one I thought I would do the same, where I tear it again, fold them back and forth. Oop. Just that it had a few of the colours in it, so I thought the music paper would go okay on this one because it's got a little bit of that look about it. I think they go quite well. All right, let's do this one. Start that way, fold back and forth, until we're happy with it. So they scrunch up quite a bit. They don't, for a longish piece, they definitely vanish. I really like the torn edges on these. I think they look great, and once you fold them, they just sort of work really well together. So my thoughts here, I might even be able to trim a bit of that off, is to pop him in there and then pop this one down this end, so you've got a little bit of variation, something a bit different. Thought that would be quite cute. And then moving on, this one I've cut quite fine. So these are, I think they're less than an inch, to tell you the truth. I just sort of cut it in 4 equal parts. That's all I had left of this paper. So I thought, oh, let's do a skinny one. Let's see how that goes. Same again, just back and forth, back and forth. But you could also add in, say you had a favourite ribbon, like a nice black ribbon down the middle of this would be pretty cool. That would look good. See what you thought of that. What else could you do? You could put streamers in it, like a fine cotton. You could put nearly anything, any sort of fringing down the centers if you had a theme or something. I thought they'd be pretty cool, actually. I just thought they were a bit of fun. Good way of using up scraps. An innovative way of using up scraps, I suppose. And if you pick colours that are, versatile, that sort of go with things, or if you have to make one specially for a page, they don't take long. They're easy. And they look really cool. So, a couple of them. This one I distressed the edges. You can see through there. Looks pretty groovy. Yeah, so you could do all sorts of things. I really think this one's my favourite though. I really like this, and I'm going to show you how to make that one next. So there's those ones, and these ones I'm going to tuck all in as well and make a nice long one. So that's the other one. So I've got 1, 2, 3 to make so far. And then I thought I'd show you how to make this particular one. So all I used is one piece of book paper. It's only a small piece of book paper. I would say it's sort of card size. A5 maybe? I think that's A5. And all you're going to do is tear it into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. That's all I did with that. So if you look at this, I've done it exactly the same way. So this piece goes on the outside, then I'm going to put this piece in next and this piece last. So again, same thing, but that particular one I didn't fold straight. I folded them on bits of angles to create a bit of variety, something a bit different, and it just creates a little bit more, a bit different for the page. So that's that one. It just depends what you like, and I don't mind if it's not straight or it's not perfect. It doesn't matter too much to me. The more crafty the better, I reckon. I love handmade stuff. I think they look really cool. So let's fold that one up a bit more. So we've got a base. There we go. So there's 3 of those. So these are the same. I'm going to tuck that piece where that ends into there. I can probably rip a little bit of that off, so it sits in a bit tighter. There we go. And then this piece will sit in here, and then I will sew those, and it winds up looking like that. It's quite flat, but you could ruffle them up or whatever you wanted to do. And the good thing about book paper is that you could ink it, you could spray it, you could do whatever you liked. So that's the next one. And the other thing that I made as well, just before, torn another piece of book paper and just did one of these. So just made one and rolled it all up like so. So you've only got one piece instead of 3 to make a longer piece. So you've got one piece like that. Sew down the middle, and this is what I did with one earlier. I sewed down the middle, but I left a little bit at the top and the bottom, and then I cut it into a leaf. So you could make it a real leaf if you wanted to and bring that right back in. But you could definitely ink these. Ink them or spray them. You know, dab, splatter water, splatter ink, paint, whatever you wanted on them. I thought they were really cute though. And you could also put them in, you know, like that somehow. Set them a bit flatter. So it actually looks like a cute little leaf. I thought that was really cute. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to go off camera now and sew all these guys together. And then I'll come back and show you the final result. Okay. Back shortly. Okay, sewing done. I'm back. All right, so I did the 2 different sizes and in between. I don't mind that. I think that looks okay. If you thought it was too, you know, obscure, you could cut your edges down and be all the one length, make it a bit skinnier if you wanted to, but I don't mind that. I think I could work with that. So there's one. This is the one with the greens and blues, you know, the other side of this one. And I put some music paper in the middle, and I just sewed with some white down the middle. So that came out really cute, actually. I really like that one. That came out good. The book paper, I did 2 lines, 2 squiggly kind of lines. I quite like that. They're it's a bit obscure. It sits well. Yeah, it's good. The pink one. The pink one, it's quite a firm paper, this one. So it's quite stiff. But I did go and play with all of these little bits to make them all stick up a little bit more. So that one came out really cute too. I like these. And you can see the pattern on it, which is nice as well. It's good. You can see their flowers. This one, you know, I said about sewing some ribbon over to the top of it. You actually can. So I just sewed a bit of ribbon over the top as I sewed it, and that was the result. So I like that one. That came out really good too. So I just used black thread, so you can't actually see where the thread is, which is even better. So that's that one. And then I did one more, lucky last. This one I'm going to use in an upcoming project. So I've got a bit of an idea for something that's coming up. So I thought I would use some of this pretty gold and white. Reminds me a bit of Art Deco, this paper. I used it in one of my pages in my journal for last year, on my Titanic page. I thought it was perfect for that, so time period and all that. So this one will feature in an upcoming journal page very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And while we were chatting before about the leaf, I did a little bit of a spray on the leaf. So I sprayed it with this Disperse Spritz and let it dry. And then I went back and used some Dilutions ink spray and just sprayed it over the top. So there's one other little idea that you could use as well, to dress things up a little bit, to match them to your page. I could also use ink, whatever you wanted to. So yeah, he turned out pretty cute too. So he might feature later too, you never know. All right, so I hope I've given you some ideas on what you can create. Simple little idea, using up scraps, and yeah, they can feature in journals and things like that. So you'll probably see some of these coming up in journal pages at some point in time. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how all these turned out. They came out quite cool, actually. So yeah, fun idea, lots of fun. Okay, that's all for today. So I'll see you in the next page and the next video. Bye.